Adaptive cycles. Adaptive cycle is the approach to structure the implementation of the project in various cycles. In each cycle, the project goes through phases of planning, implementation, monitoring, and adapting. A one-year project can be broken down into 3 cycles, each 4 months long. The purpose of this approach is to incorporate enough opportunities during the life of a project to review progress, identify variances from plans, and make the necessary corrections. Once the management plans are completed, the project manager will develop the detailed plans for the first cycle. In the first cycle, the team will go through the 4 phases. The lessons learned and opportunities identified in the first phase will be incorporated in the second phase. Lessons learned are applied constantly on the project, and that increases the quality and efficiency of the project intervention. Iteration management is the repetition of the project management phases in order to generate a sequence of outcomes that together contribute to the project goal. Each repetition of the phases is a single iteration, and the outcome of each iteration or cycle is then the starting point for the next iteration. Each cycle is an opportunity to improve the next cycle. The project team develops the detailed plans for the first cycle, then moves to implement the work. The monitoring phase will see if the deliverables comply with the plans and are producing the expected results. The monitoring data will inform about opportunities to inform and improve the project. This can be caused by changes in the original assumptions, new risks or issues, changes in the context, and lessons learned during the implementation. Based on that information, the team identifies the changes that are needed and proceeds to adapt the project plans to the next cycle. The benefit of using the iterative project management cycle is that the changes are taken care of with less cost impact during the planning and until the next iteration. The original plans and their estimates are modified routinely, especially when the understanding of the project also increases. The purpose of the iterative management cycle is that it is used where changes in the scope need to be managed. This type of life cycle reduces the complexity as the project progresses through time. Moreover, the deliveries also happen at each end of the iteration, and key stakeholders, especially beneficiaries, get a chance to see some of the initial results, even if the project has not been completed yet. The iterations or cycles can be every 3, 4, or even 6 months. The length of the project and the level of risk and complexities will define how many iterations are needed. A simple project that has low risk and low complexity may need 3 iterations per year. A more complex project with a significant level of risk will benefit from 6 iterations per year, a cycle every 2 months. Another important factor to consider is the level of skills in the project team. A team that has significant experience and skills will require less supervision, and less iterations will be required to monitor the performance. A team that has low skills and experience will need more supervision, and more iterations will be needed to monitor their performance. Here's a simple matrix to identify the number of iterations you can use in your project based on the levels of complexity and the level of team experience. A project with a high level of team experience and a low level of complexity can use 2 iterations per year. A high complexity and low team experience will need 12 iterations per year. Another method to determine if your project needs an adaptive methodology is to determine the level of complexity and dynamism surrounding the project activities and context. The conniving framework describes 4 domains to consider: simple, complicated, complex, and chaotic. The domains change based on the level of uncertainty of the results expected by the project and the level of dynamism and complexity of the environment. When there is certainty that the goal can be achieved and the level of dynamics in the environment is low, the project is on a simple domain. When the levels of uncertainty and dynamics of the environment are high, the project is on a chaotic domain. The simple domain is when problems are familiar and are clearly defined. The cause and effect relationships are clear and the context is stable. The solutions are usually obvious in these situations and don't require much expertise. The project is simple and there are no obstacles blocking it from achieving the goal. The level of adaptation is minimal. The project might need only 1 or 2 iterations per year. Complicated. In this domain, there might be multiple solutions but aren't immediately visible. It's a domain where there might be a need to know more about the unknowns. The project requires some expertise. The project solutions are complicated, and there are some obstacles blocking it from achieving the goal. The level of adaptation is moderate. The project might need 2 or 3 iterations per year. The complex domain is when problems are not clearly defined. The cause and effect relationship are not clear and the context is not stable. The solutions are usually complex in these situations and require high expertise. The project is complex and there are many obstacles blocking it from achieving the goal. The level of adaptation is high. The project might need 4 to 6 iterations per year. In the chaotic domain, cause and effect are unclear. There is no clear understanding of the real problems, or the problems keep changing and the initial solutions might not be the best, requiring significant modifications until the real solution is tested. The project context is chaotic and highly dynamic, with many obstacles blocking it from achieving the goal. In some of the situations, the project might discover that even the goal is changing. The level of adaptation is very high. The project might need 6 or more iterations per year. The framework not only tells you how to use the adaptive approach in different situations. You can have a great project with a sound solution, but if it's implemented in the incorrect context, it may be worthless, or even worse, it may be harmful. The key idea of the conniving framework is that the different kinds of situations or problems require different kinds of responses. You should identify what kind of situation you're dealing with and choose the appropriate approach.